Wow. That is actually insane. It has officially been 20 years since Herbie has been brought to the big screen, or even the small screen for that matter, unless you count Fastlane, I guess. On this day, 20 years ago, Herbie Fully Loaded hit theaters. While the overall feedback on the movie was pretty controversial, it was still considered a box office success. And even though most die-hard Herbie fans hated Herbie Fully Loaded, it made some of those of what was, at the time, the next generation die-hard Herbie fans, myself included. So to celebrate, I've decided to tell my Herbie story. Now, some of you might be thinking, Sandy, why don't you just wait till the Love Bug's anniversary to tell your Herbie story? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, it already happened in March, so I'd have to wait another year. And second, The Love Bug wasn't the movie that made me a Herbie fan. Herbie Fully Loaded was. So I feel like it's only appropriate if I do it today. Okay. Janky intro time! My Herbie story actually starts in mid or late August 2014. Yes, almost 10 years after Herbie Fully Loaded's theater release. My family was pretty bored and they were looking for something new to watch. Eventually, my dad came across Herbie Fully Loaded. My dad watched the other Herbie movies when he was a kid, but he didn't know Herbie Fully Loaded existed. But I'm assuming he thought, it's rated G, and it's Herbie, so whatever it is, it can't be that bad. So he rented it on what is now called Prime and put it on. And immediately, I was interested, but I wouldn't say I was hooked, necessarily. Not right away, but after 30 minutes, I was. I still don't know the specific reason why, but I was just so memorized by this living VW. But right before the big NASCAR race at the end, my dad turned it off because it was late at night and it was time for bed. And I still vividly remember waking up way earlier than I usually did the next morning, going into my parents' room and saying,
"Come on, we gotta watch Herbie finish the race!"
And so that morning, I finished watching Herbie Fully Loaded while eating Cheerios, and it was one of the best days of my life. And after I finished it, I started it again. I think I watched Herbie Fully Loaded 4 times total that day. And so after my parents realized that this was now my favorite movie by far, they bought it. And I watched it at least 5 times every single day of my life from then on. My dad also got me this toy car that he claimed was Herbie, and I remember thinking to myself, bro, this ain't Herbie. It wasn't a Herbie toy, but a toy car from a Pixar short called Radiator Springs 500 and a half. But alas, I still have it to this day. Speaking of Herbie toys, my uncle got me a Herbie plushie for my birthday in 2014, and I loved it to death. And I still have that Herbie plushie. And of course, on my birthday, I watched Herbie Fully Loaded. And I remember one day, like any other day, I was watching Herbie Fully Loaded, and my dad came up beside me and said, "You know, you've seen this movie so many times, why don't we watch the other Herbie movies?" And I was like, there's more Herbie movies! The second Herbie movie I ever watched was The Love Bug. And of course, I also loved it. I still vividly remember eating tortilla chips while watching it on my Kindle Fire. And the next one I watched was Herbie Goes Bananas, which traumatized me. I think it made it worse when my dad turned it off before I found out that Herbie survived being thrown off the boat. I was literally crying hysterically when I went to bed. But the next morning I was like, oh, Herbie's fine. That's cool. Then I watched Herbie Rides Again, which I also really liked. My favorite part was Alonzo Hawk's dream about like the airplane Herbies and the werewolf Herbies and whatnot. And then finally I watched Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo, which is currently my favorite Herbie movie. And after that, I was glad that I had seen every Herbie movie. At least 1,000 times each. Or so I thought. Turns out there was another Herbie movie, and even a TV series that I hadn't even seen yet. And as soon as I learned about them, I went to go watch them. I really liked Herbie the Love Bug, which was the TV series, but the 97, nope. I hated it so much, and my opinions have not at all changed on it. Nor do I ever expect them to. I think it was either 2018 or 19 when my dad said that we were going to be going to stay at the Disney World Hotel, aka All-Star Movies. And of course, as a kid, staying at a Disney hotel is literally the best thing ever. But as a kid, at a Disney hotel that has an entire area themed after your childhood hero, that's pretty sick if you ask me. So we went to Orlando, but we went to Disney World first. And me and my dad got in line for Space Mountain, which I had previously gotten in line for before. However, I was too scared and chickened out. But my dad said that if I didn't ride Space Mountain, then I wouldn't be allowed to go to All-Star Movies. So I was waiting in line, but I was thinking to myself, well, I don't know if we're gonna get the Herbie section anyway. Cause you see, the way reservations work for All-Star Movies is that they put you in whatever's available, you don't really get to pick. Eventually, we were about to get on the ride and I was like, nope. But then, dramatically as possible, my dad pulled his phone out of his pocket and showed that we definitely would be staying in the Herbie Hotel. So what did I do? I immediately got on the ride and had a great time. And that evening, we all went to All-Star Movies. For me, it was so cool to see a realish Herbie up close, even if he did look like he'd seen some things. Probably traumatized from when they tried to make him look like a girl for no reason. I went to All-Star Movies every couple years or so, and even celebrated my 13th birthday there, which was pretty cool. And by the way, Disney, I'd like to have a word with your architects. All-Star Movies was closed for a period of time to be refurbished. Okay, nothing unusual. But by refurbishing it, they took everything Herbie themed out of the Herbie section and replaced it with Mickey Mouse stuff, which I think is stupid. Come on, Disney, the Fantasia 2000 is over there, so please keep Mickey and whatever over in that section. So I'll be real, I don't have too many experiences with the Herbie fandom. However, I do think I should note some of these instances. If you weren't aware, March 13th, 2019 was the 50th anniversary of the Love Bug. And so the Herbie fandom was able to organize a 50th anniversary event at All-Star Movies, Showcase of Citrus, and a few other places. And at the time, my family lived less than an hour away from all these places. But the thing is, I had no idea it was happening. And I found out it had happened in 2021, and I was so upset, man. And funnily enough, my mom had spotted a Herbie around the time the event had happened. And she even took a picture and showed me. I don't think she still has the picture, but I think it was Gail Loves Herbie because if I remember correctly, it had blue dots painted in the headlights. There's also occasionally been times when I've seen a Herbie out in the wild. However, I've never seen a classic Herbie in the wild, only new Beetles. The two most notable times was one time a Herbie drove by while me and my brother were at our favorite boba tea place, and another time when I saw one in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. And of course, I want to bring up Bugapalooza 2025. Bugapalooza was my first time going to any kind of VW exclusive event, and shocker to no one, it was absolutely awesome. There were tons of really cool and sick looking Beetles, and some Herbies. My favorite was this Herbie that appeared to be based off the Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo style, which is an excellent choice if you ask me. I only spotted a single inaccuracy actually, but that's okay, I didn't care. The one inaccuracy was that the side view mirror was different if anybody's curious. And at Bugapalooza 2025, I actually ended up buying a Herbie poster, which is pretty cool. And the guy was super nice and even gave me this free sticker. He said I can put it on my dashboard when Herbie's finished. So that was really awesome. I've already explained exactly how I got introduced to Herbie, but exactly why was I so memorized by it? I still don't know the exact answer, but I do have a few theories. At the time, I'd already been exposed to the idea of cars and living machines through Tayo the Little Bus, Top Gear, Rory the Racing Car, Wall-E, Cars, Planes, and a few other things I probably can't remember. But I still can't really pinpoint the exact reason. I also can't explain exactly why I felt so inspired after watching Herbie Fully Loaded to become a living machine artist. But that's okay. Not everything needs an explanation. I'm well aware that tons of people, Herbie fans and even just regular onlookers, hate Herbie Fully Loaded. Onlookers often just think it's a cheesy kids movie, while Herbie fans often think Herbie Fully Loaded is an abomination. But that's okay, because I love Herbie Fully Loaded and I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. And not only is it the movie that got me into Herbie, but into art. So happy 20th anniversary to Herbie Fully Loaded, and I really hope Herbie's enjoying his retirement. And with that, it's been real, and I'll see you next time, y'all skis. Go watch Herbie Fully Loaded, please.